right, welcome to the Airmere Roundtable. Today's the 29th of July, 2024. A special guest, Amy Meisner. As many of you know, Amy's been associated with me and Airmere and the old capital discussions and even shared a mentoring for a long time. So Amy's produced quite a few really good trading strategies and trade alerts. And it was kind of a special day because it was a year ago yesterday that she had her first A14 official trade alert with the service. So it's exactly 1 year, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, but Amy's here to tell us all about how it's been doing, and she's got a special sale going on. So, yeah, Amy, let's hear about it and
All
welcome.
right. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate the introduction. So I just want to say, hey everybody, and thanks for joining the webinar. I know it was very last minute, but I appreciate those who were able to join us live. And of course, it's going to be recorded, or it is being recorded right now. So the recording will be available for anyone who wasn't able to make it. Um, and yeah, just we've never done a summer sale before, I don't think. Like I said,
No,
like
this is the first sale I've ever done for
yeah,
anything.
I mean, like when we do a launch, when we launch something new, we always give special pricing, but we've never done like a summer sale or like any sale, like a just like mid, we've done this for a year or whatever. So I think that's kind of, good idea. Um, I was kind of thinking about it with the Amazon Prime Day. And then, we were discussing how, the 1 year of the A14 alerts. I've done a lot of alert services in many different workshops over the years, but that particular service, which has been going really strong, and it's one of my most popular trading strategies. A lot of people are just absolutely love it. And that particular alert service anniversary, yeah, it was 1 year anniversary was yesterday, I think you said, right?
Yeah,
So
28th.
yeah, so it just kind of coincided with that too. So it kind of makes sense. So anyway, I just want to welcome everybody here today. Thanks for joining. Before we get started, just real quick, we have to do a little disclaimer as I'll be showing you some things. Aramir and Amy Meisner are not broker dealers. The webinars and seminars given by Aramir and Amy Meisner are for educational purposes only. Options involve risks and are not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and this presentation is for personal use only. So when you get a chance, just you can, on any of the Aramir pages, you can read through the whole, legal stuff, or pause if you're watching this recording, just pause this and take a peek and read through that. So got to do that, get that out of the way. All right. Let's get going here. So basically, I just want to thank everybody again for joining this summer sale roundtable. My name is Amy Meisner. So today I'll be sharing some exciting information about my top trading strategies here at Aramir and the benefits of each of them, as well as the exclusive offers that are going to be available during this summer sale. I also want to make sure to take a closer look at the A14 alert service performance. You guys, a lot of people have been like, how's it been going? So I'm going to dive into that a little bit more deeper. As I mentioned, the A14 is one of my most popular trading strategies, and I'll also share some testimonials that I've gathered for all of my strategies over the years, just a few of those, so you can see that my students like me. And I'll answer questions. So any questions that you guys have. So with that, let's get started. First, a little bit about me for those that are watching that don't know who I am. Just real quick, I began trading stocks and options in the mid-90s. I became a full-time options trader in 2006. Basically, I like to specialize in strategies that are high probability option strategies. My goal has always been to make monthly income, and with all of the expiration cycles now expiring on a daily basis, I've actually you know been able to change a lot of my strategies and turn them into weekly income strategies. But important for me is to always have, like an income strategy that creates consistent returns and regardless of what the market throws at me. And I don't like to sit in front of my computer all day. So the strategies that I develop generally do not require any of that. I'm not interested in sitting in front. I live in Southern California. I like to spend a lot of time outdoors. So I don't want to spend my time sitting in front of the computer. So most of my strategies don't require that, or actually, I don't think any of them do. I've been around for a while, so I've done quite a few speaking engagements and presentations for a lot of different trading clubs and educational trading services. And as most of my stuff here is here at Aramir. As Tom mentioned, we've been working together for a long time. And of course, those educational offerings include trade alert services, workshops, online video courses, things like that. So I've got several of them, and I've got several of them to share with you for this sale. All right. So first, I'm going to talk about one of, like I said, I'm going to just go through all of the different strategies that we're having a sale on. This one is the HV7 option trading system. This is meant for high volatility markets. This is a high probability market neutral strategy, and it's basically designed to perform exceptionally well during high volatility periods. Now, I know we haven't had that in a while, but you never know when that kind of pops up, and when it does, this is a great strategy to have in your toolbox. It provides very accurate signals for entering trades during those high volatility periods and focuses on very short-term trades. So these are extremely short-term, but they're capable of handling, really wide swings in the markets, which are pretty common in a high volatility market environment. And they also require no adjustments and pretty much minimal monitoring. It's just put it on and then, look for your profit target kind of thing. It's basically a no-touch trade. So this makes it, a pretty great strategy for traders that are looking for consistent results with minimal effort. Just to kind of give you a few other benefits, as I mentioned, it's only entered when a signal is triggered. It's extremely short term, like I mentioned. The average days in the trade are only 2 days in the trade. And again, it's a no-touch trade, which means no adjustments to worry about. A lot of people like that. So it's a good, it's a nice strategy to have during those times when you want to add some, some extra. Maybe you want to, stop doing something that doesn't handle a volatile market very well, and you have some things here to do. So nice thing for the toolbox. As far as capital and profit targets for like the SPX, which is my preferred index to trade this in, it can also be traded in the Russell 2000 as well, however. But basically for one lot or one contract in the SPX, the planned capital is about $5,000. And generally, I use about $2,800 of that on entry. So usually I'll just have I'll have a buffer there, obviously. So I'm not using all of that margin. So it's just kind of like with $5,000, I'll put on a one lot trade, which will usually eat up about $2,800 of margin. But I also have a low margin entry version of this, which cuts the planned capital down to $1,500 and average margin to about $1,200. So it's quite a bit less. That's something that I show in the workshop. And the profit target for these is just once I hit a 5% profit on margin, I'll take these off. So it's pretty simple. As I mentioned, has very accurate entry signals. When I first created this trade, when we first launched it, it was like May of 2022 when this was launched. I actually went back and I did a 10-year testing. And I do some pretty strict back testing. I know a lot of people worry about, fitting things. I've been doing this for quite a while. And I can assure you that I just kind of go in it, once I have a set of rules, I follow those rules and that's it. I use OptionNet Explorer to do all my testing, which has real data that they save for every 5-minute increments. So of course it's not going to be perfect because there are going to be some data spikes and things like that in the prices, but it's very, very close to being as accurate as you can be to real-time trading. It's going to be a little bit off, but I've found that with all of the strategies that I've created and tested and back tested, that my actual results are very, very close to what I'm seeing in my testing. But as I mentioned, it has some very accurate signals. When I did this again, I went through and I did a 10-year back test going back every week. And it's a lot of testing, a lot of trades. And what I found at that time, May 2022, when I launched this originally, at that time, year to date, it was 100% accurate for all of the entry signals that it gave me in 2022. As you remember, we obviously had more volatility, especially after COVID, during and after COVID. But even going back 10 years, we did have quite a few other signals that were triggered during that time, some years more than others, but it did produce about a 93% win rate. And you can see here, this was the results from OptionNet Explorer showing the trade statistics. And as you can see here, like, 2013, 2014, we really didn't have, I think there was a couple years where we didn't have any trades because there just wasn't enough volatility. So there wasn't anything getting triggered. It's a specific triggering event. So it relies, one, on high volatility, but other things as well. But then you can see that, 2015, we had some, 2016, 2018, we had some things going on. And then, of course, starting in 2020, after the COVID crisis, we really had a lot of different we had a lot of trades come in during those years. So like I said, it's a really great strategy to have, in the toolbox for when we do have higher volatility markets. And so this was a one lot trade averaging about $2,800 per margin. As you can see, it did pretty well. So what's included with this workshop? So this is a workshop that I did, like I said, in May of 2022, but it was done live. It was recorded. I record all my things live so that way students can, ask me questions and all that kind of thing. And I do update these from time to time as needed if I change any type of the way I'm trading it. But this one doesn't require any changes, so it's still just as valid today as it was when I created it. So what the workshop includes is the entry signal, what's the criteria, how to set your alert so you know exactly when to enter a trade. So it shows you, how to determine what the entry signal is and how to set it up so that you know when it gets triggered. How to set up the actual position itself, step by step, includes additional setup for a lower margin version, as I mentioned, and it covers the differences and benefits of each of those setups. And then I talk about how to, when and how to exit the trade, including the use of good till cancel orders. And I also go through, as I do in all of my workshops, multiple trades examples that go throughout that 10-year backtest. I actually went through multiple trade examples, entering them and exiting them and so forth, so you can get the hang of it. I also did some bonus example trades using the lower margin version, as I mentioned, as well as a few example trades using the Russell 2000, since this was mainly done in the SPX. As I mentioned, I also use Option Explorer. So I did include that 10-year backtest, the trade log of that 10-year backtest that you can peruse through I think it's as an Excel spreadsheet, I believe. And then there's also a private forum for students to interact with each other, so you can have a little community there. Again, all the classes were recorded live, as well as the Q&A sessions where I answered questions afterwards. I even did an additional Q&A session that was scheduled like about 30 to 60 days after the original class, so that way people can kind of absorb the material and then they have other questions to ask. So I did that, and that was recorded as well. So all of that is available and included as part of that workshop. So let's talk now about the AIC-22 strategy. This is another strategy. This one was, I think, one of the latest ones that I just launched not long ago. So this is a all-weather strategy. I call it all-weather strategy because it's designed to profit in any market condition, and that's even whether it's, we're having a huge rally or even if the market's crashing. There's been quite a few trades, that you can actually turn a market that's crashing into an actual profit, and even more of a profit than maybe a typical trade. So you can actually, take what would normally be a losing trade and turn it into a winner because it can handle crashes based on the risk management and adjustment style of this particular strategy. So it's very versatile and reliable. Basically, it is a little bit long. Well, it's not really longer term, but it was created as a monthly income trading strategy, which it remains today. Can be traded mainly. I trade it in the SPX and the Russell 2000. When I originally created it, it was the Russell 2000, but there's just slight differences. So those are, both included in this workshop. But basically, it falls within the family of iron condor type strategies, but it's a lot more resilient. It has a different structure, which allows it to compensate for both the commonly bullish nature of the market, which tends to rise more often and for longer periods of time, as most of you know that have been trading for a while, but it incorporates a hedging mechanism and a risk management plan to handle any downside protection, which allows it to a lot of times profit in a crash scenario. So why, what are the benefits? It's like I said, all-weather resilience. It's built to withstand and capitalize on a variety of market conditions, including explosive rallies as well as steep crashes. It has a robust risk management plan. As I mentioned, it can profit even in a market crash. It's a consistent strategy, and it's done monthly, so it's meant for consistent monthly income. It has a high success rate. Statistically, it's 85% or higher. And I've been trading this since 2013. Um, and it's strategically designed to keep losses manageable. So the risk management plan that I have for following allows you to keep a positive expectancy so that you can continue having consistent gains. It doesn't mean that every single trade is going to be a winner. It's just a matter of, making any losses that do happen manageable. And with this 85% or higher win rate, it's, and keeping the losses manageable, it has a pretty good, return over time. And again, I have a tactical trading plan. So it integrates specific entry, adjustment, and exit tactics, all of these things together for a specific trade execution all around. Some other benefits real quick. It's got a low, conventional condors are, something that most people start off with, but this one is set up so that it has a much lower sensitivity to volatility, which a lot of you have probably experienced if you've traded just a typical conventional iron condor. It has minimal to no upside risk, depending on how it's set up. And the downside risk is really easy to manage. One of the things that I really like about this that a lot of people don't talk about is the efficient use of margin. So a lot of times when we're creating strategies, we'll kind of ease into them and you'll have to put aside a certain amount of planned capital just in case you build, there's an adjustment or, because it'll add margin to the trade. For this particular strategy, a lot of the hedging is built in at the beginning, even though there could be adjustments along the way. And because of that, there's really no need to increase margin throughout the trade. So it's really nice to know what the margin is, what the planned capital needs to be throughout the life of the trade and not having to worry about it changing. It's actually a pretty big thing, using your money efficiently. As this is a monthly strategy and the days in the trade are usually 30 days or less, so there's really no overlapping of trades necessary. I also created, when I did an update on this particular strategy, I created a simplified method that can actually hit the profit target in as little as 1 day. And it's very easily scalable. The planned capital, again, this is done in either the SPX or the Russell 2000 index. Planned capital for what I call a tranche. So it's got multiple pieces. So what I call like a certain ratio of those pieces together are going to make up one tranche or one unit, and that is $18,000. So I usually have a little bit of buffer. So I usually have like a minimum account size of $20,000 for one of these. And again, it can be scaled. Profit targets for the simplified method, I'm just looking to capture as much of my credit that I received as possible. So about 50 to 90% of the credit received. And for my classic entry, I'm looking to capture anywhere from 6 to 7% of the margin, which is about $1,000 to $1,100 on a single unit. And if there are adjustments and there's more than one adjustment, then I lower that to about 2 to 4% for a single unit. And then I keep losses are generally lower than 7% of margin, so or no more than the credit received if I'm using the simplified method. So in most cases, I've statistically they're lower than 4%. And again, the win rate is anywhere from 85 to 90%. And a half size version can be set up as well to kind of take these planned capital amounts in half. So it's a really nice trade. As you can see here, as I mentioned, I started trading this live in 2013 in the Russell 2000. And as you can see, the results of those live trades were, it was very, very consistent monthly income. Having, maybe one or two or sometimes zero losses for the whole year, trading it every single month. And so it's very consistent and consistently getting close to its target. Usually there's adjustments, but it's pretty consistent. And then the simplified method that I created that I added to this new workshop where you can actually, profit really, really quickly. I did do some back testing, and I took it all the way back to 2018, and this was launched in 2023. And as you can see, even with that simplified method, you're getting some pretty good growth with a 90% winning trades. With the SPX, same thing with the RUT. In this particular case, this was just a 2023 backtest I did just for the Russell 2000, and every single trade was a winner. The classic version takes a little bit longer to get out of, but they're always, almost always closed within the 30 days, and that had a 92% win rate. And this trade, again, it's been around for a long time, so I've had some, some really nice testimonials from customers, as you can see here. A lot of people really like this strategy. I'm not going to read through all of these, but one I like, it says, I love that Amy is showing that condor trade for wimps actually works. Her adjustment points are so close and the delta she's carrying are so small. My first reaction to a system like this would be that it couldn't be consistently profitable at a level that would impress anyone, but I believe she has shown it can be done. So that was from Steve. Thanks, Amy. I'm a believer in your strategy, from Rick. You guys could go through these if you get, pause the recording. But a lot of really nice testimonials, all for this particular strategy. So a lot of people really, really like this. So what's included with this workshop? Again, you get the core concepts of the strategy itself, all of the rules and guidelines, including entry, adjustments, exit for both the SPX and the Russell 2000 index. I go through several step-by-step examples in all different types of markets in both of these indices, whether it's an up market, a down market, a choppy market. So you kind of get the idea of what might happen and what has happened in the past. I give you the complete trade logs of those back tests for the SPX and RUT that I showed you the results from. And of course, I had a Q&A session after each class, which was recorded as well. The private forum, so students can interact with each other. And I did a couple bonuses. One of them was example trades using the lower margin version, as well as I added a completely different strategy for small accounts, because I know that a lot of people want to looking for strategies with smaller accounts. So I did include this like little weekly strategy that it was its own thing. And I did a whole session on that, and including its, setup, adjustment options, exit examples, and so forth from that. And I did a bonus Q&A session as well. And as I mentioned, with all of my things, all classes and all bonus sessions and all Q&As are recorded, so you guys can watch all of that information, as well as have access, of course, to the forum. All right, so now let's get into my flagship weekly strategy. As you guys know, we now have expirations every day. And once the weeklies got, had enough volume on them, I started looking at taking some of my ideas and converting them from monthly income strategies to weekly income strategies. And the A14 weekly strategy has become one of my flagship strategy. It's designed to generate steady income with minimal risk and is executed weekly, as I mentioned, which allows for really rapid growth, especially if compounding is used. It's really been a game changer for me and for many of the traders that are students of mine. So when I developed this, actually, I started developing this in September of 2020. I began live testing in my own personal accounts, which is what I do with, anything that I'm creating. And I just started using a combination of different trading tactics, trying to come up with what would be the best, and kind of narrowed it down and ended up having a 229% net profit. This is after commissions and fees over a 15-month period. So my starting balance was $32,000. I added about $29,000 to the account. And so with a $62,000 account, I ended up having a $204,000 balance, which I basically more than tripled my account, which is a 229% net profit, or 183% annualized net return. In the launch video of this particular strategy, I even showed my, my actual account statements. So you can see, I started off with 32,000. I added 29,000 to the account. those were all of my, anything I like deposits and disbursements. So you can see that I added 29,000, and then my balance at the end of that period was 204. So basically what I ended up doing though is I did, I have my own trading style. So even though I was using a lot of, certain tactics, I combined what I thought were the best elements of those particular trading tactics. And I wanted to create a rules-based version of what I was doing to get the same results, or similar results at least. And that was what the A14 weekly strategy was kind of built on. I ended up getting actually, pretty much almost identical results with this, with the rules base. So again, this is a high probability market neutral strategy. So no need to pick a direction, don't need to be a technical analysis guru. It's suitable for small or large accounts. Again, I don't like sitting in front of my computer all day, and I'm sure you don't as well. So I've tried to make it as simple as possible. There's a simple single order at entry. The adjustments are simple, and I only make them once a day. So I only check once a day. So generally there's a certain time, a day of the week and time of the that I enter a trade, and then I only check the trade once a day for any adjustments. Unless it hits my profit target, then I'll close it out. But I'm only checking once a day for any adjustments. And then of course, anytime a target profit is reached, I'll exit the trade. But I don't need to sit in front of my computer to do that. And again, this is a very short-term trade. I use the weekly expiration cycles, and they're usually closed within 8 days. So there's not very many overlapping trades. There can be, but there's not always overlapping trades with this. The planned capital, I usually do a 2-lot trade for this at the beginning, and the planned capital is anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 because volatility is going to change the price, and also the setup. I might have wider wings, which might be cost a little bit more margin, but generally a 2-lot trade is going to be between $5,000 and $8,000 in the SPX. For planned capital. It's not the margin that I'm using, it's just the planned capital. So I usually like to have a minimum account size of, like close to double that. So like $9,000, $10,000. However, my margin is generally for instance, for my trade alert service, which I'll talk about in a bit, which I started for this strategy, I don't go over $5,000 of margin for a 2-lot trade, in that, for each individual trade, in that, service. So it can be done with the $5,000. My profit target is I'm looking for about 5% or more of the max margin that I used. The average has been about 6.5% in my earlier trading when I was doing this, but in my alert service, it's a little bit lower, just being a little bit more conservative. But it usually, it's averaging close to 5% for each trade. And I try to keep the losses around 6% or less, but generally under 10%. Occasionally there'll be an outlier, but this is a weekly trade that's made up pretty quick, but most of them are lower than the gains. And the win-loss expectancy is 9 to 1, so it's pretty good. A lot of wins before you get a loss kind of thing in most cases. As you can see here, this was when I first launched the A14 option strategy, trading it each week, doing it just with the rules-based, not with any extra nuanced trading. As you can see here, this was a pretty nice looking equity curve with 90% winners and 37 winners, only 4 losses out of 41 trades for that period of January through October of 2021. So what's included with this workshop? The core concepts of the A14 weekly strategy, the rules and guidelines, including entry, adjustments, and exit. I go through several step-by-step examples, whether we're in an up market, down market, choppy markets, etc. So you can kind of get the hang of what might happen and the different adjustments that are taking place depending on what's going on in the market. I also shared some additional adjustment options that could be used. At the time, a lot of people were trading what was called the boxcar. I'm not sure if anybody here is trading that, but a lot of these adjustment strategies could be used with that particular strategy as well. So I mentioned that in one of the sessions. And then again, I did a Q&A after each class, so that was recorded as well. So again, all of these classes and Q&As were recorded, available for playback, as well as I think for some reason I forgot to mention in here, there is a private forum for this as well. I think it's, private forum, private Discord, I believe. So just again, some testimonials about this particular A14 strategy. I've gotten several, too many to list. So I just thought I'd list a few. Purchased several courses from you. Refamiliarizing myself with A14. Absolutely love it. Thanks again for all the help and insights. Just wanted to say thanks for publishing the A14 technique. More than worth the price. Uh, just wanted to thank you again for providing the A14 course. This person had 53 trades, 43 winners, and only 10 losers. Definitely will trade the system again this year. Thanks again. And well-planned, detailed course from Michael L. Had a great success with the A14 this past year. This trade is brilliant. Would highly recommend it. This person says year to date he's up $50,000. I actually did a case study with both Bill and Raphael. So if you go to the regular page, and I'll show you where that is, you can actually watch those and listen to them tell what they, how their experience is on their own. And this one was interesting. This one was this morning. I went into the Discord channel and the public Discord channel for the A14, and somebody had just posted, I was, to tell everybody, hey, there's a sale, there's a roundtable today. I wanted to let you guys know. And I saw this post, so I just thought, oh, I'll just take a snapshot of it. I didn't capture the person's name, I didn't ask. So, but it was an interesting post. So he says it's about 75 to 80% winners. And I was able to retire from working for others in about 6 months. That is like incredible. That's really amazing. Good for you. But he does say that there's some cons. So he says you must religiously drop everything you're doing during those 2 times daily. Remember, I told you it's like there's just like a 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes like in the afternoon, or 5-10 minutes in the afternoon. So he's saying for him it was like he really felt like he needed to religiously drop everything and just make sure he was in front of his computer during those 2 times of the market. So for him it was important to be able to have that time. And when he missed something, that he tried to follow up the following morning and either got a far worse fill or he didn't need the adjustment anymore anyway. So kind of like, it was like, 50-50, I guess. But his last statement and his first statement were just great. The retiring after about 6 months of trading this, and I truly don't know why anyone does anything else. It works magic for me. So thanks to whoever posted that. That's really a great testimonial. I thought that was kind of fun to share. All right, so just moving on real quick. So what happened was, so I created that rules-based version of it, but a lot of people were saying, well, what kind of nuanced trading do you do when you do the A14? So I thought, okay, I'm going to share all of that. So the advanced workshop 2023 A14 advanced workshop goes a lot deeper into the advanced concepts of the strategy itself. I provide in-depth entry, adjustment, and exit tactics that I use in my more nuanced style of trading this strategy. It also covers how to adapt the strategy to various market conditions beyond the rules-based version that I show in the original workshop, as well as I go over the compounding method that I use to increase the returns even faster. So what's included here is detailed analysis of the concepts. I go over that again. I do a recap of the rules and guidelines, but the original workshop really goes through that in much more detail and gives you all of the examples, which is why most people get this as a bundle. And then I go through all of the advanced concepts and tactics that I mentioned, different, entering the trade. I go through days of expiration, the day and time of entry, different strike selections and wing widths, placement of the position. If you're, maybe have one, if you're neutral or bullish or bearish, how volatility can affect things, different hedging methods, trade adjustments, the timing of them, why I'm doing things in a more detailed way, explaining that, some different types of adjustment types that weren't included in the original workshop. And then I talk about more in depth about time decay and volatility and how it affects adjustments. And then different exit strategies, what to look for, and even creating free lottery tickets. So there's a lot in here. And I also talk about holidays and announcements and news and other considerations to take. And what I mentioned, I did create compounding calculation spreadsheet, which is included, and show you how to use that. And I do that myself so I can compound my winnings and create, grow the account or the portion of my account that I'm trading the A14 in much faster. I included a couple of group mentoring sessions where we went over, in detail different things and answered questions. Again, there's a private forum and the private Discord channel and so forth. And everything, again, has been recorded and available for playback. And then finally, what I really wanted to end with here before I talk about some really great discounts is the A14 trade alert service. So everybody's like, we really want you to do alert service for this. We got so much out of the workshop. I really like to see follow along with the way you trade it and so forth. So I did create a monthly subscription for a trade alert service for the A14 strategy. Basically, there's a private Slack channels and that allows us to send out the notifications extremely fast, whether you're on the web or on your mobile device. It's super fast. It works great. And it's created a nice community, a supportive community of active A14 traders that are constantly on there talking with each other and helping each other out and even asking me questions, and I answer them as well. I enter trades every week, so I enter a new trade every week. And the alerts that I send out are for every single thing about the trade, the setup, adjustments, the exit, and as well as additional commentary. So it's got a lot to it. And let's dive into the performance. As I promised, I wanted to go through the performance of how it's been a year since I started this alert service. The first trade was put on August 4th, 2023. And as you can see here, there is some red on the screen, but they're pretty reasonable, pretty close to the winners. And, I'm pretty conservative, so there's probably a little bit more than, like instead of having like 9 winners in a row, maybe there's only 5 or 6 winners in a row. So here's like, what do we got here? 8 winners in a row, that kind of thing. But, I try to keep the losers pretty small. I think we only had one outsized loser right here. What about 9%? Oops, look at the wrong column. Yield on account. Yeah, 9%. The yield on the margin was 15%, but I don't use the full account here for this. So, but basically I was just kind of using, okay, if I have a $5,000 class account, or I'm putting $5,000 in my account towards this class account, I'm putting on a trade every week. I think I only skipped 1 week I can't remember what the reason was. There was something going on. And as you can see here, a pretty nice looking growth chart here, 83%, but annualized just for 2024, 100% annualized return just for 2024, and we still have about 5 months to go. The win rate for the class is about 80%, 79.6%. You can see that here.
I just want to point out too for the trades, Amy puts these on in Slack before she actually hits the send button to her broker. So she's not front running these. So everybody has the same opportunity to get the same fills that Amy does.
Yeah, well, I'm not waiting too long, but yeah. So
Yeah, I
I'll
mean, you don't wait
put
like
it
an
on and
hour
then
or
send it
something.
out. So no,
Yeah.
nothing like that at all. So yeah, definitely you guys, and a lot of people don't get the same fills, but I'm doing such small contracts. So sometimes what'll happen is I'll get filled because maybe I have it in first before somebody can type it in there, even though I'm typing it into Slack before I do it. You guys might not get it into your trading platforms until after. So sometimes that'll be the best price, but a lot of times people get better prices than me. So it's kind of and
It
a
should
lot of
average
people
out.
chase prices too. Not everybody's patient. I'm not patient. So I try to put it in at a price that I know I'll just like, if I can get filled right away, I'm happy. And then people can start, trying to get filled. So just depends on how patient you are. But a lot of people get better prices and some people get a little bit worse, but usually it's about a nickel difference, I'd say on average. So it's not too bad. I haven't seen anything more than 10 cents difference. So that's not going to really make that much of a difference. So let's get back to the presentation. I have a few more testimonials that I threw in here. The Amy's A14 strategy transformed my trading approach. The workshops are worth every penny. That was from John D. Sarah says, the HV7 system is incredibly effective in high volatility markets. Highly recommend. And from Michael B, Amy's trade alerts provide real-time insights that are invaluable and must-have for a serious trader. So I appreciate those. Like I said, I got a lot of really good input from my students, and they keep coming back. So hopefully I'm doing something right. And I like to take people's input, so I make changes based on what people are looking for and try to keep people happy. So
And
with
one
that,
more, just
I'm
one more
sorry.
thing too. There's a Discord channel for the A14 and the AIC folks. So Amy's not on Discord, so Mike Schwartz helps moderate that. But if you buy one of the workshops, there are quite a few people in Discord that have bought the A14 workshop but don't have the trade alert. So Slack is where the trade alert folks hang out, and Discord is where the non-trade alert folks are.
Right, because we do have a forum for every time you buy a workshop, there's a forum on, but not a lot of people use the forum. It's not as interactive. So that's why Tom created that Discord channel for those people. So I really appreciate that. I'm horrible at Discord. That's why I'm not on it. For some reason, I can get onto it on my phone. I can't get onto it on my computer. I don't understand that platform for some reason. But anyway, I'm glad it's useful for a lot of folks. So with that, I want to just mention again, we're having a summer sale. First time we're doing a sale. We're having it go through the 15th of August. So you have some time to take advantage of it, and it's some pretty big discounts. And so basically what I've done is I've set it up. So for existing students, anybody who's a student of mine that's already bought one of my things, then there's $100 off of the AIC-22 or the HV7 Workshop. Pick your choice. You get $100 off of that. So I think the AIC is normally, boy, I
I
don't
think
even know.
it's like 497, something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the AIC is normally $497. You get $100 off. It's only $397. The HV7 is normally $399. You get $100 off. It's only $299. And if you only have one of the A14 workshops, you can add another one for just $150. So that's a savings of
50.
almost no, that's more because it's bundled. So normally an additional workshop would be another $497. You save what not I don't know why my brain isn't working with math right now.
Public math, Amy, start hard to
It's
do.
because it's 497, that's why. $347. So you actually save $347 by adding another workshop if you only have one of them. We normally have it where you save $300, but we're adding an extra $50 off or whatever it is. Or we normally save 297 and we're adding another $50 off. And if you want to try the alert service, let's say you've tried it before, but you're not currently enrolled or you've never tried it, you get 50% off for your first month if you're an A14 Workshop customer. But you have to have not been enrolled within the last 30 days. So we're doing a 50% off for the first month, and that's for existing customers already. But if you aren't an existing customer of any of my stuff, or maybe you only have the HV7 or the AIC-22, you could still take advantage of the sale. This is the website. I'm going to just go there,
I just put it in the chat too.
aramir.com/summer. And I think I've already, here we go.
There it
So,
is.
Tom put this together so you can see how many days are left. So we got 17 days left. And here is all of the discounts. So the HV7, again, $100 off. The way this website works is you can click the buy button, it'll automatically go to the checkout page. But if you just click anywhere here, it'll kind of expand a little bit more information about it. And if you want to learn more about just that workshop, you can actually click this button and it'll actually take you to the original, eventually, come on, I don't know why, there we go. It'll take
There
you
we
to the
go.
original sales page where the original launch video is there if you want to watch through that. If you want to go through a lot more detail about that particular strategy, you can. And then you can
If you want
you
to
know,
get the best price, you got to go back to the sales page. To the
I think, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
not there. Go back on your browser. Yep.
Oh, I thought you could click there. Okay.
Yep.
Um,
This
anyway,
page is where
so
all the good deals are.
okay. But anyway, so there's the, same thing here. If you want to learn a little bit more deep dive, you can click there. Um, and so basically you get $100 off of any of the workshops. So buy one workshop, you get $100 off, whether it's the HV7, the AIC-22, the original A14 workshop, or the advanced concepts A14 workshop. You get $100 off of each of those. But we also have some bundles that we put together. So we've got the A14 workshop bundle, which includes both A14 workshops, as well as the first month of the service. I can't say it. A14 Trade Alert Service subscription, because that's a monthly subscription. So you get both of the workshop bundles. You have access forever, and then you get the first month of the A14 Trade Alert system. It's all included. Normally, separately, that would cost $1,123. We've marked it down and given you a $375 discount. It's only $748. After the first month, then you pay the regular $120 a month if you want to stay with the trade alerts.
And
And
just, I always tell people too, if they're new, to consider getting the trade alerts for at least a month, because Amy's very active there. A lot of other traders are trading A14. It's been there for a year. It's very established. Very few people leave. So if you're trying to learn it and you have questions, that's the absolute best place to go and ask questions. So, and then you can see what Amy's trading as well. So I consider this a really, really good one if you're interested in the A14.
yeah, and even if you've bought an A14, like I said, if you already have a workshop from the A14 and you want to just try the A14 alerts, then you can go to your class page and you'll see an upgrade button where you can get it for 50% off the first month. If
Yeah,
you're
I
already,
still have to code that, so it's not going to work until later today. So just
oh, okay.
be warned. Yep.
Okay, it'll be there, but that's on your class page if you've already got a workshop. We also did what we call the mega bundle, and that includes all the workshops. That's the both A14 workshops, the AIC-22 workshop, the HV7 workshop, and the first month of the A14 Trade Alert subscription. Normally, all of that would cost $2,021. We're giving a $576 off until August 15th, so it's only $1,445. That's a pretty big discount. So hopefully I'll see some new faces. You guys can learn a little bit more about some of these. And everybody, I've gotten a lot of great, like I said, with all those testimonials, you can see if you go to any one of those pages, you'll see the testimonials. You can see that a lot of people have really done really well with these strategies, all of these strategies. And as Tom mentioned, the A14 trade alerts being on Slack, having a private Slack channel there, a lot of activity, a lot of traders, A14 traders there that are constantly helping each other, ask questions, I answer questions, things like that. So it's a really great community there.
Oh, and
So,
just another point too. The A14 trade alerts are only available for people who have bought one of the A14 workshops. So if you're
oh,
new and you want the trade alerts, you can't get it separately. And the reason is, Amy, you don't want to keep answering the same questions that you go over in the workshop over and over. So
right. I think
it's
it's
good to
better
get
to have it.
that
It's a
foundation.
rules-based system. Plus the advanced one has a lot of my nuanced trading, and I really want people to understand how it works before, bombarding everybody with lots of questions in the trailer. So the trailers are really just for people that they are A14 traders. They really take it seriously and learned how to trade it, and now want to follow me and join the community of other A14 traders in the alert service. So that's why I did it that way.
Oh, Gary asked, do you have any concerns in the trade alert service of too many people piling in on the same trades? Well, it's SPX, so my take on it is unless you're trading $100 million, probably it's not gonna be a
Yeah, I haven't
problem.
seen any effect. Most of the time, what people do is anytime I put on a new trade or make an adjustment, not everybody, but a lot of people will post their fills. And they're all with, some people are, they're all within like a nickel here and there of each other and me. Some people will wait a little bit longer. Other people go, oh, I didn't, maybe they were out for 10, 15 minutes, or they did it an hour later or half an hour later, and they might get a different fill. But for the most part, they'll post, I just got this fill, I got this fill, and they'll tell you, hey, I got this on Tasty Trade. Oh, I got this one on Schwab. So it's really nice to kind of have that because you can see what everybody's doing. And that community really helps in that respect as well, as opposed to just sitting at your computer by yourself wondering like, why is this getting filled? And then you can kind of see what other people are doing. The deals on this page are for new users. And then the HV7 and the AIC-22 are for existing.
That's for everyone.
That's for everyone because, if you don't have that. And then if you're an HV7 or an AIC-22 and you don't have the A14, you can use this page too. So anybody can use this page, but if you already have the A14 workshop or one of them, and you want to upgrade to add the other one, or you want to upgrade and add the alert service, that can be found on your A14 class page that you already have. I hope that makes sense. We tried to make it
Oh, and
simple.
David asked, how where can you learn how Slack works? I just posted an article of how to use Slack, a quick start guide. So hopefully that'll help. But it's pretty easy, really. It's basically just a chat platform. And it is faster than SMS because when I was doing SMS, I had to send it to an SMS gateway, and then they would send it out, and your phone providers would have to say, is this spam or not, and then send it to you. But as soon as Amy hits the button to send an alert, boom, it's on Slack and it goes to cross-platform. It's on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop immediately. So
Yeah.
it's really, really great.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have asked me about like, well, how about a text message? But actually, the text messages,
They're slower.
they're very slow. And I remember when I used to do it that way, we used to do it that way here. People would get text messages. Some people would get them within 30 seconds. Other people would get them 10 minutes later. So it wasn't really a real-time situation because of the service that they had, or how it was going through, I don't know, the wires or however that worked. But with the Slack, it's pretty instantaneous. And also, Slack has the mobile app for whether you're using an iPhone or Android phone, you have the mobile app, and you can turn on your notifications, and it works just like you're getting a text message. It's just a notification from Slack. Has a little different sound or whatever. And it's just, it's instantaneous, super easy to use. Even I can use it, like I said. So I'm finding it really, and the nice thing is if I'm out and I feel like, somebody asked me a question, I happen to see it on my phone, I can answer a question because it's mobile friendly. I don't have to wait till I get back on my computer to do that. So it's really, yeah, it's just a great, great, great tool. And it helps people, it's easy for people to communicate with each other. So I really like that about it. What other
And somebody
questions?
asked how many hours to go through the A14. I just added it up. It's around 9 to 10 hours total for
Oh,
the original A14 of all the videos.
and what about and then the advanced A14?
I
Um,
didn't add that one up, but that
it's
gives you a rough
complete.
idea.
I think it's about the same. So it's going to be about, anywhere from 15 to 20 hours worth of, you know,
Two,
stuff.
four, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Maybe
12,
more.
13, 14. About 14 hours for the advance, I'd say, something like
And
that.
eight or how much did you say for
Yeah,
the?
about, yeah, 8 to 9 for the first
Oh,
one.
okay. So about like 23 hours, something like that.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah,
both of them.
both of them. Okay.
And then
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Tibor asked, are you planning an alert service with the AIC-22? I know you've had that question before.
I've had it before, and I know I promised I was trying to come up with a way to do things and see if I can combine some stuff, and I was going to send out some kind of poll. I just couldn't figure out how to put it together with the amount of time that would be needed. So as of now, no. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to do something with that. So there might be something, but maybe it's just more like a short-lived version as opposed to like an ongoing monthly thing. So I will, definitely take that into consideration for sure.
And then
Uh,
Neil had a good point. If you buy one of the A14 workshops or the bundle, but not the trade alerts, you can always sign up for the trade alerts later. That's always just, if there's a button on the pages for those to just add the trade alerts and just start the $129 a month subscription. So, and if you want to take some time and go through the training and just wait a month or two, that's fine. You can sign up anytime.
well, actually, I think he's got a different question though. He says if he's buying the A14 bundle with the alert service, the bundle that includes the alert service, he wants to know if he could go through the material and then not start that first month of the alert service until later. I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah, that's fine. Just send me a message if that's what you want to do, and then I'll just make a note in your record that you
Yeah.
want to
I
start
think we could do it
later.
like
But
within a certain amount of time or something like that.
yeah, within like, 60 or 90 days, that's fine.
So, um,
And
ask any teenager how to use Slack. Yeah. Uh,
if you're
any,
just running the A14, what difference do the other two, the AIC-22 and the HV7, bring to the trade?
okay, so that's a great question. Okay, so the A14 is a weekly strategy. It's done every week. The AIC-22 is unique in that it's a monthly strategy, so it's a little bit longer term, and it is a strategy that can actually profit during a crash. So if you're like concerned about that type of thing, or you just want to have some kind of a diversification in your portfolio, or maybe you want to run the A14 in the SPX and the AIC-22 in the Russell 2000, it's a way of diversifying and adding a monthly. strategy where you're not doing something necessarily every week. It's a little bit maybe less to do on that trade. And then the HV7 is specifically only triggered during high volatility markets. So it's basically, it's a great tool to have in your toolbox. It's not going to get triggered all the time, but when it does, it's highly accurate. So it's just, again, just another thing to add to your toolbox is, hey, I'm in a extremely high volatility market. Maybe I don't want to trade this strategy or that strategy, but I have something else I can trade. Or maybe I just want to add it because the other strategies are doing fine, but I want something else to add during this time. Maybe I can make a little extra premium or something. So that's what would probably be the way to think about it, I guess.
And then there was a question about making adjustments to the A14 on your phone at 3:30 with Toss or Tasty if you have the alert service, but happen to be away from your computer. It says he knows it's not recommended on the phone, but asks as a last resort, not as a
Oh,
regular
well,
thing.
I do. I mean, a lot of times I'll do a trade on my phone, even, my car, but, sometimes when I'm at a stoplight. But I've been trading for a long time. So if I see something, like, oh, I can get out of that trade. I'm good. But, it really depends on the ease and your comfortableness, I guess, if that's a word, with the mobile platform that you have, how, how confident you are trading, things like that. So I don't like to do it as a regular. I don't do it as a regular trading method, but I will trade off of my phone if I need to. If I usually I'll do it if it's something like I just happen to get caught outside or I'm doing something outside and all of a sudden my profit target is hit and I didn't expect it. I'm like, oh, okay, well my profit target was hit. I might as well exit this thing. I usually don't do it for like adjustments or anything like that. I like to see, if I want to do that, but it just depends on how comfortable you are. But it is capable of being done. We do have some pretty robust mobile platforms nowadays for sure. And
Oh,
I try to keep it
tablets
very
too.
simple. What's that?
And tablets too, like your
Yeah, the
iPad.
tablet's easy. Yeah, that's easy because it's much bigger.
And Mike says he just hit 13 wins in a row on an A14 this year. Congrats.
Awesome. Good
Calvin
job.
says don't drive and trade.
It's at the stop
Just
sign.
just pull off and pull over the
Pull
side.
over. Uh,
And how do you define high vol? VIX 16 high or higher, for
oh, it's
example?
much higher than that. This is when we get into like, above 20, when we're like, in the mid 20s.
And then Gary asks, is there a max account size you would allocate for either A14 or A28, AIC-22?
That's something that you have to decide for yourself. What I do with my accounts, I mean, I trade the SPX, so there's so much volume going on. I'm not too worried about it. So for
I mean, you're
me,
trading what, like 50, 150 butterflies?
oh yeah, yeah. So that's, anywhere from 50 to 100, 150 butterflies. So, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'll do more than that. If I can, I'd feel comfortable doing, a couple hundred or something. Um, I just probably just cycle through them and maybe get them at different prices, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just
When I
scale
traded
in.
the AIC-22, the original version, um, I traded, I think the highest amount of contracts I did was 1,500 on the credit spread portion of that. That was in the Russell 2000, and that's not even as liquid as the SPX. And that was even, back in like 2018. So back in, it's not that long ago, but I didn't have any problem with it. And
Well,
SPX is,
Amy, I have to run pretty soon,
oh, I'm
but
sorry.
we're just about done with the questions anyway. And then
Okay. I did a place
Ektar asks,
stop,
are
the
trading all
targets.
these strategies currently, not the HV7 because we're not high
Yeah,
vol.
we don't have a high enough volatility. Every once in a while, I'll put on an AIC-22, but most of my capital is to the A14 just because, um, I like doing the weekly stuff. And I'm trying to grow my accounts as quick as possible. But I'll put on an AIC-22. The HV7, I'll put that on too. If once we get into a higher volatility market, I'll put that on again too. Because
And
that's a
then Darius asked, is it recommended to place stops and profit targets on the A14 if you have adjustments in case of worst case scenario like internet outage, broker issues, etc.?
I do profit targets, but then once I do adjustments, I just set alerts instead. I mean, I don't know where you're at, Darius, but I guess if you have a lot of problems with internet outage or broker issues, then that could be something that you definitely want to take into consideration, but it's certainly going to lower, the results, I would imagine. So if you have issues like that, that would be something
He just
into
said he's
consideration with any kind
he's
of trading.
OCD. He's funny.
What's that?
He said he's just being OCD.
Oh, yeah. The only thing I would say is like once I put on a trade, you could put it like immediately put in a profit target to take it out. But then once you have adjustments, you got to kind of
You have
maneuver
to
to take that out.
modify that. Yep.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, like I
You
said,
got to
I've
get
got to
going.
run.
Yep. Thank you
Thanks so
everybody for
much.
joining. Hope to see some new students in my classes, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out and have a great rest of the week.
Yeah, and I'll just post that URL here just one more time. It's airmere.com/summer. So thanks everyone for coming. Thanks, Amy. It's the first time we've done a sale like this, and
Yeah, we'll have to try it once a year or something.
yeah, you have a couple weeks. It's good till the middle of the month of August, so you don't have to rush out today, but don't wait too long.
Yeah, and as Tom mentioned, he'll have the additional discounts for existing A14 workshop owners. So when you go to your class page and you click on those upgrade buttons, he'll have those additional discounts automatically put in by this evening, I guess.
Yeah, that's the goal. So
Yeah, everything else on this page is
assuming
always
there's
there.
no more fires I have to put out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Tom, for hosting, and thanks everybody for being here.
Yep, thanks everyone. Thanks, Amy.